guest right next. I'm excited about my next guest. We're going to have a fire chat here with Scott Hudler, who's the Chief Marketing Officer for Torchy's Tacos. Hi, Scott.
Hey, how are you? Thanks so much for having me.
I'm so excited to interview you. I mean, I don't know if anyone's listened to like me drone on LinkedIn or on a podcast I was recently on talking about your brand. Torchy's Tacos, unfortunately, is not in my area. So I have to confess I've never stepped foot, but I'm such a fan of your brand. You do so much creative, cool stuff, and your visuals are awesome. Your logo and your t-shirt that you're wearing right now is awesome.
Yeah.
There we go, the little devil. So just tell us a little bit about the brand and how long you've been there and your role there.
Yeah. So I've been here for about 2 years. Have worked at, my background worked at a number of pretty big companies, M&M Mars, Dunkin Brands, Dick's Sporting Goods, and just wanted to do something a little more entrepreneurial and, really get with a growth company. And, we are that. So Torchys was founded August 1st, 2006 in a food trailer in Austin, Texas. When food trucks and food trailers weren't the cool hip thing that they are today. Mike Ripka, our founder, started it. The location wasn't great, so he had a red Vespa that he would drive all over the area and hand out free chips and queso, free chips and guac, salsa, tacos to anyone that would take it. And as he would hand them out, people would say, "Man, that's damn good." And so that became part of the
Good
tacos. It became part of the logo. It became part of the mantra. And now, fast forward 14 years later, we have kind of crystallized it as our mission is to be damn good. And so we think about that in everything we do, every guest interaction, how we're treating our guests, how we treat our employees, just everything about the brand is, be damn good. And we kind of ask ourselves that, all right, is this damn good or is it okay? And make sure that we're
for everything.
Yeah. And so now we're, from the humble beginnings in that food trailer in Austin, Texas, we're now at 82 restaurants across 7 states. We'll open one more restaurant this year in 2020 in Lawrence, Kansas, which will take us to 83. And, this is the first year of a 5-year plan to open 100 new restaurants, which will expand us from where we are today to we'll be in 17 states. And so we're going to, keep marching east, and we'll march a little bit west and look at like Arizona, Nevada. But at the end of the 5-year plan, we expect to be kind of as far east and north as North Carolina.
That's amazing growth trajectory and expectation. And I know that you opened in 3 states. Was it 3 states during this pandemic?
We've opened in 3 states. We've opened in Louisiana, Kansas, and Missouri. And, we had, for Louisiana, we had, we were done with shovels in the ground. We were, dusting it off, getting ready to open it on, we had plans to open 3 restaurants on March the 30th.
Oh, man.
So we pushed those off, but we ended up opening, kind of staggering those openings. And the reception that we've gotten from, the Baton Rouge, the Shreveport, Lake Charles, Kansas City, and even Wichita that we just opened in those new states has been outstanding. And
did your location fare okay during the storm in Lake Charles?
Yeah, we shut it down for, I think it was shut down for 12 days. We actually opened it back up. We are running that restaurant here as we record this with no power. We're running on generator, no water. We brought in water to make sure that it's clean and safe.
Yeah.
And we're operating with a incredibly limited menu of 3 tacos, and the response has been overwhelming. It's been so great for people in the community, the way they've supported us and the way we've supported them as well in terms of donating food to the folks that are down there helping with the cleanup. So it's been pretty remarkable, the story in Lake Charles.
Well, that is a remarkable story, and it's kind of a remarkable story all around that you're even able to open even 1 store during the pandemic, and much less in multiple states and through a storm. I mean, a real hurricane. So it's crazy that everything has hit at once. Tell us how you guys have kind of survived and pivoted during all of this.
I think during, Lake Charles is an example. It's like, what's worse than a pandemic? Oh, a pandemic and a hurricane.
Yeah.
But for the brand overall, I mean, like all restaurateurs, those early days in March were pretty dark. We lost 50% of our sales literally overnight. We were a concept that pre-COVID was 2/3 dine-in, 1/3 takeout. we quickly transitioned to 100% off premise. The good news is we were already envisioning a world that was 50-50. We knew just as, things like third-party delivery and takeout and digital were growing, we were going to see a shift to probably a 50-50 split. So the good news is because of that, we were already on the way with, we already had good packaging solutions, but we've made some adjustments. We had started to test curbside. And so we had it, testing it in about 2 locations when COVID hit. Our operators are absolutely amazing. And I say we MacGyvered together curbside in all of our locations. Some were really elegant solutions with iPads. Some were less elegant, but equally effective solutions of dragging cable across an empty dining room, putting a cash register on the curb, and having a dry erase board and a marker. And that's how we tackled COVID. We did a couple other things. We very quickly established family packs. So that's, a pound of a protein that feeds, 4 to 6 people, basically enough for a family at a really attractive price point. We limited the menu. We went to what we call a game day menu, which is what we run in some of our college locations like College Station, Lubbock, Guadalupe here in Austin. When there's a big football game, we cut it down to like 7 tacos. So we went to that. We trimmed our hours of operation. We stopped opening early in the morning because people weren't going to work. So in a lot of our locations, we didn't really have a breakfast business to speak of. Thankfully, a lot of the state alcohol commissions allowed restaurants to start selling alcohol to go as kits, and now subsequently in Texas, full margaritas prepared to go. That was a big win for us because that's one of the things we're known for is our signature margaritas. So that was a really big help.
Is it stuck, Scott? Like you can still do that?
You can, and hopefully that isn't going away because speaking not just as a marketer, but as a guest, I really love being able to go to Torchy's and just pick up a margarita and bring it home.
I love the idea of alcohol to go just to help restaurants with revenues.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to push everything to off-prem. Let us push everything, right?
Absolutely.
Everything we can sell, we should.
Yeah, and so, we're hoping that things don't get walked back in that area. I think speaking on behalf of Torchy's, and I think I'm safe speaking for all restaurants, this is something that is pretty important to us, and we want to make sure that stays once we hopefully get past this in the next 12,
Absolutely.
18.
I mean, there have been no crazy incidents that I've heard of that it shouldn't stay.
No.
I mean, there's nothing that's been harmful about it. I mean, you would hear it in the news the first thing if something did. So
yeah.
I don't see any harm in it.
There are several states that had it already. So, it was just some of the other states that were a little late to that. But I think our overall COVID mission was, first of all, safety of our guests and our employees first and foremost, making sure everybody's masked up. We instituted that before it was mandated. Extra cleaning. I mean, we were a pretty clean restaurant to begin with, but have just doubled, tripled down on sanitizing surfaces, spacing out tables, putting up barriers for booths. So one of the challenges and benefits of the Torchys brand is we have 82 different restaurants. We have 82 different restaurant designs. So the back of the house will be similar, but the front of the house there's unique, there's quirks. We try and design it aesthetically. Everyone's a little different. So unlike, if we had concept A, concept B, you just kind of spit out, all right, send these barriers to prototype A, these to prototype B. We have to go in and do it on a case-by-case basis, but it's not that difficult to add in the barriers and make sure that it's a safe environment.
Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit of a challenge. I never really thought about that, but I guess it would have to be customized for every location. Tell us a little bit about what happened on Cinco de Mayo. I know that you guys got slammed, but I mean, it kind of good thing and bad thing, right?
Yeah, it was, the headline is we were just absolutely overwhelmed. If you think about when that was, so it's, early May as everyone's been in pretty airtight lockdown from the middle of March through April.
People going crazy.
Yeah, and the good thing is, all the things you hope for as a restaurateur, good weather, big demand, and it was just, times 100. So we were really overwhelmed. We were not damn good on Cinco de Mayo at all, just because we were completely overwhelmed. We joked that anyone that served a taco, if you had one taco on your menu on Cinco de Mayo, you were absolutely overwhelmed. So, we social media is really, we're not a big advertising brand. We don't spend a lot of money. You know, we're a word of mouth brand. So social is how we deliver it. And, you know, we were not only hearing it from our operators during the day, but seeing it on social right away. So we put something out that night, you know, just full mea culpa, our bad. We did not deliver it, and, you know, ask for forgiveness on that, because it was just an overwhelming day. And talking to some other marketers in the Mexican space, it was a similar story. So, you know,
Yep.
all we can do is say we're sorry and ask people to give us another chance and make it right when we can.
And to me, the Twitter apology that I read from you guys was so heartfelt, and it was so, I mean, you put love into it, and it's like you
Yeah.
put love into your food, and you know, you can't do it all right all the time, especially during a pandemic when everyone's going crazy, and Cinco de Mayo hits, and like you said, the perfect weather, and everyone was out, and I mean, you know, you just have to, and I think that your timeliness was of the essence, right? You came out strong with an apology, and you came out fast.
Yeah.
So your fans appreciated it.
Yeah. And for us, like I said, we're a word of mouth brand. So if the experience is bad, the word of mouth isn't going to help anything. So, you know, we are all about the food, and that guest experience. So when we miss the mark, which, I mean, every restaurant does, and we certainly do from time to time as well. We just we gotta make it right. And that's what we do.
So when you talked about like pulling everything out to the parking lot and you know, doing what you had to do to make curbside work, what kind of technology installations have you done, I guess, since March? Is there something that comes to mind that just stands out in your mind as something like, we implemented that because of this, and it's going to be great moving forward?
Yeah. So one was we had real challenges getting Wi-Fi outside of our restaurants. We weren't set up for that. We do not have guest-facing Wi-Fi today or pre-COVID, but it was literally designed to hit the boundaries of the dining room.
Sure.
And so, you know, to have it extend into the patios, to have it extend into the parking lot, we had to make a lot of adjustments there. Also, you know, looking at putting iPads into the stores to help manage that curbside business. Those were two of the biggest changes. I mean, it was, you know, the foundation was, how do we get Wi-Fi outside the dining room? And we have, you know, some of the challenges. We have a lot of metal and, you know, the store design. We have reflectors is a big part of our interior design package. Not super conducive to Wi-Fi, so we had to add a few repeaters and some boosters.
What about online ordering and your digital channels? Have you seen that kind of increase? I know that a lot of restaurants have.
Yeah, that's actually, I mean, it's like everybody, it's spiked up in a pretty meaningful way, and I think we are constantly looking at how can we make that experience better. So we're doing a lot of things there. You know, being able to integrate curbside into that will be a big thing. We actually saw our phone orders spike up as well. I mean, it was, you know, a pretty small percentage, and it went up quite a bit. So now we're looking at, all right, how do we make that better? You know, we obviously want to drive as many people online as possible, but some people just like to call, or maybe it's something really specific they want as a customization. So, but we're looking at ways we can improve that from the payment standpoint, where it's a pay via text type situation.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So tell us about, you know, what you're doing to get into maybe some local markets there. I know that, is it your queso that you've been selling into the Whole Foods?
Yeah, so we just started this week. We're testing in 40 stores in Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Arkansas with Whole Foods. We're selling our queso. We've never done that before, sold it as a retail product. We're pretty excited about it. We're also selling our Diablo sauce, which we've made. You could buy in our stores for years, and you can buy online, but now we're putting it at grocery. And, you know, we look at it as a way to expand the brand, and hopefully this works and we can continue to expand that, and it will grow quicker than our traditional store footprint. So when we are ready to go to Atlanta, you know, DC, New York, consumers have had the chance to taste our queso and know the brand a little bit more than show up unannounced. I mean, we've taken a very strategic, contiguous growth strategy from a restaurant standpoint. So we're not just putting pins on a map and saying, all right, let's go to Chicago, let's go to LA, let's go to New York. We're really going through and moving out from our center here in Austin. But this will be a nice way to to get the brand out there and like I said, have people get familiar with the taste profile of our queso.
I can't wait to
told, unofficially, it is one of the most confiscated items at the Austin TSA checkpoints. People try to smuggle queso back through. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what is? I didn't hear you. The queso?
Our queso. So people try and take it back on the plane, and if they're check on because it's a liquid, and it's way more than 3 ounces, that it's confiscated quite a bit. So
yeah, I mean, you could just look at Stubs right down the street, wherever Stubs is, in relation to where they're in Austin. They've done great with their barbecue sauces.
Yeah.
I know, and brands like White Castles and have been in the freezer section for a long time. I mean, it's really cool to diversify right now. I mean, and have those different revenue streams coming in, especially in light of what's happened. We need to kind of diversify in any way we can.
Yeah, and we're like I said, it's early days. We just went into all the stores officially yesterday, so we're excited to see how it does.
That's great. So any like parting words of wisdom, I guess I would ask for the, your peers are watching, lots of restaurant technologists watching us now. You guys have been through a roller coaster and you're still growing and you've got a lot of uphill challenges, but yet you seem to be meeting them head on. What kind of advice would you give to those watching today just about best practices or what you've been through?
I think, staying true to who you are as a brand. That's like I said earlier, we're all about the food and making sure that it's a damn good experience when you leave our restaurant. And, we think that's what separates us from other concepts is we're so, from our founder, Mike, as the chairman down to everybody working at the register, it's all centrally food focused. That's who we are. That's what got us here. It's what we're going to continue to do. So I think that would be number one, kind of stay true to who you are. Secondly is just be flexible especially on the technology. I mean, we see it in all walks of life that consumer technology moves and consumers adopt faster to that than companies are able to.
Yeah.
So I think just think about, what's next and make sure you have the strong foundation. And, we have that foundation with online ordering, which we can now start to build a lot on top of. Just be willing to experiment. I think we've taken on, COVID has forced us to experiment with a bunch of different things from a technology standpoint, from a menu standpoint. And so be open to that and take what you can to learn from it.
Yeah. And the diversification of you just trying to get your product out there. What a great strategy too, to get your product out there in the hands of consumers before you're even in their town. I mean, I just think it's brilliant.
That's, we, like I said earlier, we don't spend a lot of money on marketing, but we focus on local store marketing, on the community, and the best marketing we can do is have people taste our queso, taste our tacos. We think that's going to win every time.
And the cute logo doesn't hurt.
Torchy, he's the devil that's sitting on your shoulder that's saying, you know what, you've had salad every day this week. Why don't you have that queso tonight?
Yeah. Hey, take that margarita while you got it. Get it to go.
Yeah, he's not, I mean, yeah, he's a baby devil, but I mean, he's a baby devil in a diaper. And
Where do you get your shirt? Like stand up and show there he is.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's going to convince you to have that extra taco, or, he's a little mischievous, but he's not out to do harm.
Yeah. He's a friendly devil.
He is a friendly devil.
Well, thank you so much, Scott, for joining us. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and continued success with Torchys.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.